Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
All right, it is Thursday, and a reminder that our title sponsor is Able Auctions. Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox just before we get to Farhan. Sam in Lake Cowichan, gee, the Oilers' pants sure look good. And if you notice, the Oilers have gone back to the blue uniforms. Although last night they wore white in Abbotsford. But they've gone back to the old school pants with the orange and white flare on them. Yeah. Versus the Canucks, who have eliminated the pant stripe altogether. And I don't know if Sam is being sarcastic, but some people do care about these things. And that orange and white flare on the blue pants, we're talking about the 5 Stanley Cups. It's all about the pant stripe. Right. Farhan will tell you that. Farhan Lalji joining us from TSN. How are you, sir?
You're such an easy mark for uniform people.
I know.
You know, they just come to you for that, whether it's number, uniform, all of it. You're like as the least fashionable person I know next to Rick.
Yeah, that's true.
You're all about uniforms, right? It's incredible. And I like clean, so I like the Canucks going with no stripe at all. You know, it's like in football, the less you have, the better. I think there's that collegiate, clean look that I really like. I saw Rick wearing a Toronto Blue Jays uniform, which no matter how you dress that up and disguise it, disgusting, ugly, awful. I'm ashamed. I used to love you. Now it's just kind of a strong light. That's about it.
Only thing about Toronto I like. Only thing about Toronto I like, the Jays. Nothing else.
It's the only thing about Toronto I hate. But I hate the Leafs too. It's not. But I don't mind the Raptors and the other teams. But the Jays, just with the amount of oxygen they take up at a specific time of the year where there's oxygen to be had, I can't stand it. And look, so for me, my uniform. Look what I did. You see that?
Well, I see the Huskies helmet. What are we looking at?
No, it's a Donnie and Dolly mug.
Oh, well, yes.
Oh, okay, look at that. The Donnie and Dolly mug.
It's got your name on it, the whole bit.
Very nice.
There you go.
Very nice.
I'm glad you're enjoying that.
Thanks for feeding me, boys.
Front and center. By the way, back in the day, Farhan's New Westminster Hayaks with the silver helmet, they had a good look.
Yeah,
black and orange, it was very clean. So I take it you're cheering for the Mariners versus the Jays.
Oh my God! Like, why is this a question? Of course, I'm cheering for the Mariners. When I was younger and I was naive and I thought there should be a Canada's team before I grew up and realized what a stupid fallacy that is. Mm-hmm. I like the Expos. And I like the Mariners because they were the regional team. And then the Expos left, so I only like the Mariners. Now, look, I'm not going to lie and profess that I'm this massive baseball guy because I'm not. But when the Mariners were good, which was obviously quite some time ago,
21 years ago,
I got into them. And I used to watch full games, whereas even now, I will follow games and I'll watch a few innings. But to get me to watch an entire baseball game is challenging. That said, I absolutely want the Mariners to win this thing in 2. I'm going to be in Toronto on Sunday, and I hope they are all crying.
Meanwhile, and I agree with you, you were in Abbotsford last night. What was your takeaway? Connor McDavid put on a show, Pettersson with a couple of goals. What did you notice?
Well, I noticed an increase in intensity on the part of the home team who clearly needed it, right? And they were able to play for 60 minutes, and even though they did give up some goals in the third, and blew some 1-goal leads, they kept fighting. They kept coming back. They skated. There was some entertainment value in last night's game. It was as intense a preseason game as you're going to find. You saw some big hits with, Nurse against Höglander, and obviously Pettersson also took one, and Pearson and others got involved, and just that heatedness of this. It's not their biggest rival because obviously the Battle of Alberta is, but these are 2 teams that are going to play early in week 1 of the season, and I liked what I saw just from an entertainment and pace standpoint, but also Pettersson getting the 2 goals, the shot looking in midseason form on the power play. Höglander picking up his 2nd goal of the preseason. There was a lot to like, no doubt.
We're still waiting for Pettersson to get to 75, 80, 85, 90 points.
Yeah.
Still, despite
This is the year.
Yeah, but still, despite the greatness, and we talk about how great he is, his season high is 68 points. this is the year everyone feels he can get close to 90. Do you think so?
I totally think so. And I think he's stronger and is more prepared to withstand, the rigors of an 82-game season. And that really is what it's going to come down to for him, right? Can he physically and mentally be on top of his game for an entire season? Now, last year for the most part he was healthy, but he certainly wasn't mentally on top of his game early on. And, and we saw that, right? That, there was the risk, but even he himself said he wasn't himself mentally. And, he changed his focus. Then you noticed the jump, right? So, his wrist improved, but also he improved personally, and that was important. So he needs to be physically and mentally dialed in for 80 to 82 games, and if he does that, he's going to get 90 points because he's that talented. And when he plays with the level of confidence he did in the second half of the season and the level of confidence he showed last night against an A-squad Oiler team, there's not a lot of people who can stop this guy. He is a top-end player, and when we saw him his first year, guys, I expected at some point he would be a top 10 player in the National Hockey League, right? Yeah. Maybe he's not McDavid or Matthews, but a top 10 player in the National Hockey League. And I think he's still shown enough of that should still be the expectation. And this is the year he's got to take a step closer to it.
All right, this weekend, BC Lions in Toronto, but you had a tweet about Nathan Rourke's injury. We're getting down to the crunch here. Now the big question is, can Rourke somehow come back and be ready for the playoffs?
Well, there's no guarantee just because there's got to be some markers he's got to hit along the way. And he's going to continuously have the injury reevaluated, every week or so here. But right now, things are looking up. That is the hope. The club is preparing and targeting and building up his rehab and everything like that around the possibility of a return for that final game of the season and into the playoffs, right? And that doesn't mean he'll start and play that full final game, even if he's ready to go. Maybe it's just a couple series to knock off some rust before a playoff game starts. But that is his hope. That is the club's hope. And that's not based on what they thought right when he had the injury. It's just based on what they've seen since the surgery. Things have gone really, really well. You've seen the videos of him, like without the boot, non-weight bearing weight bearing now and things like that. So he's trending in the right direction, but it is still a significant injury. There's no guarantee, but knowing him the way I do and just how dialed in he is to this, I have a feeling we're going to see him again.
Traveling all over the place, Farhan Lalji, you were in Tampa Bay last week, right?
I was. I was in Tampa for the KC game.
Chiefs win over the Buccaneers. A lot happening with Tom Brady these days. But Patrick Mahomes, what did he show you?
He showed me he's the best player in the NFL. I mean, Josh Allen might have a case, but Patrick Mahomes, when he's on his game, is an absolute stud. And this guy is one of the rare players where the game is played at the speed he's decided it's going to be played at, right? And, just his ability to create and control and just, find ways to get it done is just unlike any other guy. And as good as Josh Allen is, it's a little different just because it's designed. And, he can run and, he physically is the entire Buffalo Bills offense, but it's just different. And there's such an entertainment value to what Mahomes does. And I know that, a year ago, the second half of that game against Cincinnati in the playoffs was just awful. And I know that there's some people worried this season about the loss of Tyreek Hill and what that would do. His overall passing numbers are going to be a little lower. Even in that game, he was around 250 yards passing. Brady significantly more because they were from having to play from behind the whole game. But you just looked at it and how well did he play? There might not be as many big, deep shots, like he had with Tyreek Hill, but he knows how to get everybody the ball and everybody involved. And I think Kansas City is tough to stop.
If you could flip the Huskies helmet with the Donnie and Dolly mug, it would be much appreciated. Yeah, it's more prominent that way.
Don't mess with my Huskies.
I know.
And buck up and buy a Donnie and Dolly golf shirt.
No, send me one. You don't pay me.
We don't send you one. Hey, we don't send you one.
He's in the media.
Yeah, buck up.
That's right.
He's not paying for anything.
It's like I'm Moj Light. Everything I have is a free corporate golf shirt.
Get the crowbar out to get the wallet out. Move it.
You know what? Let's trade your Blue Jay jersey for a Donnie and Dolly shirt.
No, that's a good point.
You burn it, I'll buy one. You burn the Blue Jay shirt, I'll buy a Donnie and Dolly shirt.
He made the fashion mistake yesterday.
No, I didn't.
Brian, thanks for this. Appreciate it.
See you guys.